And we're back. We're a little tired. We started this movie a little late, but we're back and we're excited to talk about what we thought about this. Hitchcock did not want to talk about this movie in the Truffaut book. He just wanted to get on to the next movie, which was Blackmail, and the guy interviewing him, Truffaut, said, yeah, but let's talk about this because this was neat or that was neat. And Hitchcock in the end said that this was not a Hitchcock picture. He wasn't a big fan of it. Like I said in the intro, nobody was a big fan of this movie. It turned out to be a big hit. Good for them. Probably it wasn't a big hit because they just stuck to the novel. They felt that it was such a big hit and everybody knew the story that they had to stick to it. They couldn't put anything fun. There wasn't any attempts at humor. There really wasn't putting a stamp on it. I think that he just looked at it as an assignment, just get it done. And as I did say earlier too, it was a successful movie, so nothing wrong with that. Speaking of messing with the content, next week's movie, Blackmail, is based on a play. Hitchcock took that play and a very dark play and made it even darker, which is very interesting. We'll get to that. So yeah, we had a blonde leading lady. We definitely enjoyed that. That was nice to see. I had a bit of a problem with the age of Philip. You know, the actor Malcolm Keane. We did the math. He was 41 when they did this movie, and that really just doesn't work. Annie Andra was 26, which is considerably younger. She's very cute. You know, why these books aren't well known is probably why this movie works the way it works. Is it's outdated. I mean, it definitely is something that that the class system that you had in England, where you really couldn't marry someone in a lower class from you, and it's not a joke. You really couldn't do it. In the book, that is explained. It is crystal clear in the book that there is no way he could have been appointed the Deemster. The Deemster who was appointing him to that position basically outright told him, if you marry this girl or if you marry someone who isn't in your same class structure, you're not going to become Deemster. You're not going to have a career. So it's because of books like this and ultimately plays or movies like this, they ended up changing the system, so they're very, very important. But to watch it later isn't as relevant because it's not like that today. It's silly. We're sitting there watching it saying, marry the cute girl and move to Canada. I mean, you don't have to do that. So I did like in the end in the book, certainly, that love conquers all. It's said that Sir Hall Caine did not like this movie. He might have been crotchety and old at that point. I don't know. I think if I would have written this book, I might not have liked the movie either. In the book, they walked off with the child with heads held high, knowing that love conquers all, and knowing that they were going to have this great life together. That's not really the sense you get in this movie. In fact, what you have here, maybe this was Hitchcockian, was not exactly a happy ending. By no, you know, Pete's mad at him. The father's mad, the town people are yelling at them, and sure, they walk off, and we can imagine they're going to have a great life together with their child, and really what they should have done from the beginning, but he's got no career, and she presumably is going to have no family. I wouldn't call that a truly a happy ending. So, interesting. Getting back to the book, not really well developed, the plot points. Pete's off earning his fortune in the gold mines in Johannesburg, and writes a letter. They said I was dead, but I wasn't. I'm coming home with lots of money next week. Come on. And in the book, it's pretty neat, the story. He was chasing after some workers that were... we had a sick cat in the back. You okay? Can you hear that? He was chasing after some workers who were stealing diamonds, because in the book it was in diamond mines, and so he ran after them, and he ended up getting shot. He was shot, and they left him for dead, and he kind of recovered and sailed back to the Isle of Man from Africa. And what kept him alive and probably saved his life was knowing he was coming back to Kate. So again, not super developed in the movie. Maybe they just figured everybody read the book, so to heck with it. One thing that's good about silent films that we noticed, this is our last silent film, is when you're sitting watching it and you think of something funny to say, you can just say it because you're not going to interrupt the dialogue or anything. and there were a few funny things to say. We had some brandy in this movie. They toasted with brandy. It isn't super clear in the movie, but believe me, in the book, brandy was everywhere. So we also had the bread and a knife thing, which Diane always notices that. That's hugely important in next week's movie. We're just like Hitchcock. We can't wait to get to next week's movie. There were a few other things we noticed with some really great shots. No kidding, great shots through the window when Phil is asking Kate's father if it's okay if Pete courts her. We're watching that whole thing from Pete's point of view through the window. We can't hear it. Oh, it's a silent film, but we're watching it through that. That was good. Well, fantastic scene even earlier in the movie where we're just at the bar, we're all signing that petition, but Philip is talking to all the fishermen, and he looks over as he's talking to them and he sees Pete talking to the girl, because he's clearly smitten with her from the beginning, and there's this big crowd of people, but all you can see clearly in focus is Pete talking to the cute blonde girl. It's not like all the other people are fuzzy and not in focus, but it's just, I don't know, that's pretty good. We really like that. And there's also a scene after the wedding when they're saying goodbye to everybody that was at the dinner, and Pete's hand closes the door, and you see that from Kate's perspective, almost like Diane said it's like closing the door on her life that she might have had. So some good shots like that. Right. We also wanted to say that again, very, very risque stuff. There were not movies that had an illegitimate child as a theme per se in the 20s at the time. So probably why it earned that A rating for the movie. Very, very interesting. Also, the scene probably where Philip and Kate do the deed is probably up in the mill. It's a corn mill that they own, and they embrace and they kiss, and we flash back to the corn mill, the grinding. Get it? Grinding. So we thought that was pretty funny. Okay, so yeah, not a thriller, not a big suspense film, but definitely an attempted suicide and an illegitimate child. Getting back to the attempted suicide, that reminded me when Kate just jumps into the water, absolutely the exact same scene in Vertigo, which we're eventually going to get to, where Kim Novak's character, at that point, she's Carlotta, or pretending to be Carlotta, and she jumps into the bay in San Francisco under the Bay Bridge. A fantastic scene. Right, and there's also the funny scene at the beginning where you've got Pete getting on a big ship. And I thought to myself when I first saw that, you're in Liverpool, it's a long time ago, and you're going on a big ship. Just read the side of the ship and make sure it doesn't say Titanic, because that wouldn't be good. So anything we had the blonde leading lady, that was good, but certainly no chases, no murders, not a lot of suspense, I guess, no weapons.
Come full circle.
Definitely, did we come full circle? How so?
The first scene he was on the boat coming back, and
right.
The last scene he was...
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we'll see a lot of that. So, and I think that might have been just a Hitchcockian thing again, that he just really wanted to finish where we started, and I agree that definitely was in there. Would we recommend this movie to non-Hitchcock buffs? I don't know, maybe. I specifically remember when we first saw this, I liked it the first time I saw it, whereas we cannot say that about some of the earlier ones. So, I don't know, as silent film goes, yeah, I think this was pretty good. Good, so we are still really loving the comments. We had some excellent comments again from Farmer's Wife, some funny comments. So we had an excellent comment from a fellow blogger, a fellow named Jason Liller. He is doing a blog. It seems like we thought of this at the exact same time. It seems like we put it into motion at exactly the same time. Quite coincidentally, he decided that he was going to watch every Hitchcock movie in chronological order and blog about them. So he found us and said, "Wow, we're doing similar projects. This is great. If you want, you can check me out." So we did, and we love his blog. It's fantastic, and there are some fantastic insights as to the movies. I think at this point, although this is dated, He has done The Lodger, The Ring, and he's really finding, what he's doing is he's doing all of them. So no matter how obscure or how hard to find they are, he's doing them anyway. So he actually started with The Pleasure Garden, 1925, which to my mind is completely unavailable in North America. So he obviously found it somehow to watch and reviewed it. So go to that. He's also probably going to have a lot of insights with regards to silent films. I think he knows a great deal about films in general, but it seems to me he's very passionate about silent films, and that's wonderful for us right now because we're just learning about them. So his site is called Hitchcock One by One. I'm going to link the site up right here so you can see what it is. And on our site, we're going to have a link to that and the book from the author, A Year of Hitchcock. He left a comment on the MANXMAN already before we reviewed it, so just look down at the bottom and you'll see Jason's comment so far and his very kind words. So thank you. And that's pretty cool that we all had the same idea at the same time. So very neat. So good. I think that's it for the MANXMAN. I think that's it for silent films for the time being. So next week we are very excited. We're going to be doing movie number 6, Blackmail, a sound film, Britain's very first sound film. Kind of like the United States' very first sound film was The Jazz Singer. Well, this is the United Kingdom's first sound film. So until then, from our couch to yours, we'll see you next week.